the Rebbe spoke the 11th of Nisan, 1985, Tavshim Mem Hey. The Rebbe is discussing on the second page, on the bottom paragraph. The Rebbe discussed till now the concept of Mitzrayim, Egypt, and limitation in the world, limitation in the person, limitation in the chain of creation. And now the Rebbe is going to speak how there could be a potential for limitation, constriction in the Aveda of a person, the service of a person, in the world, and which is this. So the source comes from higher. This is similar to a discourse which the Rebbe spoke in 1974. B'chol deir vadeir chayiv adam b'chol deir vadeir v'chol yom v'yom. A person has the picture in every generation, every day. We went out of Egypt. Same meaning. Then discussing the level, the concept of Mitzrayim, constriction on all the different levels. So the Rebbe continues on page 1680, the last paragraph. The potential that there should be the concept of Mitzrayim, constriction in the Aved of a person, in the service of a person to the Almighty. And then later, as it comes down into the world, where does this all come from? Where does it stem from? The source, in the roots are Lamaila, the higher worlds. The whole world, the creation of all the worlds was through constriction and limitation. Because there was limitation, because there was a constriction on the infinite light, a revelation, and therefore there was a certain limitation, therefore this brought about in the chain of creation a limitation of kedusha, a constriction on a sacred level. So this marks the source of a source. Through interruptions, interferences, and through parsois, which are like curtains that dim the light, that interfere with the light, in constrictions. So this resulted that then it came down in Mitzrayim Kipshute, the inyan of Mitzrayim, the physical Egypt in this physical world, which this all stems from the constrictions as they are in Kedusha, up to the highest level of the chain of creation. The Razal say, that the Razal say, that sages tell us, that until the world was created, and that also includes not only creation but Netzal Olam. Netzal Olam means even as the world was in the state of Atzilus, which is higher yet than the creation. That He, the Almighty, His essence, together with His name, were one. Shahurak B'china Shem. It was shame, which means you can't even refer to it as light, as a revelation. A revelation is ready for the sake of outside. You can't refer to it yet with the level of the concept of light. That it says, not that the name was a separate entity, but the name and Him were as one, which means that the name was not a separate entity.
The name is a
right, but here, at that point, it was that the name is not serving a separate purpose. Because there was no separate, there's no chain creation.
If there's no creation,
this is the source of everything. Because this is how it stands in its source. This is how it stands before it branches into a purpose of it. Right, this is basically how it stands in Mitzad His Shleimus. Mitzad His completion, He had everything. Mitzad the Almighty, Mitzad His completion, He's Sholim. He has everything. Same way that there's 10 attributes. What do we need the 10 attributes? The 10 attributes is for the purpose of world. But this was all the Shneim Hu Shmeihem Beifim de Bilvad. The Levada system connected with Him alone. As it's explained in the order footnote 29 in Sefer HaErkim, for Rabbi Yochanan explains it in the Encyclopedia of Chassidus.
What does shame represent?
Okay. Shame represents a reference, a relationship between the person and the outside world.
No, by Rebishter shame.
Shame is an union of Malchus is considered shame, name, because it's something outside, remote from him. It seems remote from him.
But in Atzilus,
It's a gilui. It's a gilui, but there's a difference between shame and eir. Eir is a revelation. Shame is more a concealment. We say by the Eibishter, the names are basically his functions. Yeah, the Zayin Shemes are his functions. When Moshe Rabbeinu asks the Eibishter, what's your name? So the Medrash says, Lefi Maisei Ani Nikram, refer to my functions. Then there's the union of the light. So therefore, Shal Zeh Omru, that this is what they say, about this it is said, the Eirin Sofu Shlemusa Dikula, that the infinite revelation is Shlemusa, is the completion of everything. Ukeshem Sheyesh Lekeach. Keshem Sheyesh Lekeach Bibligvul. Shmu, but Bilvad. There wasn't like a separate entity. The Shmei was part of who? Part of him.
The term ordained Sophia refers to...
But once again, who gave him
yeah.
this name? Who named him this name? The name.
The Razal say, Ad Shalei Nivra Yahu Shmei Bilvad.
Who gave him this name? The name.
Who gave him the name?
What kind of name it was? Shmo.
There's
Is
different
there a name?
names.
What
No,
the name?
Shmei over here means Yud Kei Vav Kei.
Okay.
That's the Shem Ha'etzim. That's the essential.
So he
name.
named himself Yudkevavke.
The Shalah, there's a Maimer, discourse from the Rebbe Rashab. The Rebbe Rashab discusses
I don't want to sound like a koifer, but you know, I want to know.
what is the. He discusses what is the name. The Shavuos. There's a Hemshech of Shavuos Tafri Samaches.
Yeah.
He discusses what is the name Shem Havaya mean. What's that Samaches? There's Tafri Samaches. He discusses the union of the names. He says first the name shows an ashpa. Yud Kei Vav Kei is the 4-step process of a flow that is coming from the mashpia to the mekabel, from the giver to the receiver. The Yud and the Hey, right, and then the Vav is the rolling down, and then there's the second Hey, which is the receiver. So this is a whole process. In addition to that, he says Yud Kei Vav Kei is rotzen, means will. Then he comes even higher yet, that Yud Kei Vav Kei speaks about the Metzias of the Eibishter. It's like it's so tightly connected to the Eibishter, it does not reflect, it's so tightly connected to the Almighty that it's not reflecting any function or any relationship to the outside, but it's Pashat his being. And I think the Shalah, the Rebbe Rashab quotes from the Shalah, that this is the union of his being.
So Atzmut tomorrow, that's Yudkevavke?
Atzmus is also, there's a Yud Kei Vav Kei on different levels. You have Yud Kei Vav Kei in Atzilus, you have Yud Kei Vav Kei in Keser, you have it Lifnei Atzimtzum, and they're explained in different ways.
So what is the highest level? You know, the
Atzmus is the highest level.
Atzmut is the highest
Well, I think we know it by
level.
now.
Oh, it's Atzmut.
Kuv Pei Vav. Lamer Zeh. This is a hemshech of two Maimarim. It's very Yisaitistic in Maimarim.
Not going to win.
No, what are you trying to do?
Is it Ratzon? I think this is the Maimon.
This, I don't want to play the game. Simon says. I want to see what's the item behind Simon.
Oh, actually, this is really heavy. I think it's 3 Maimarim, a hemshech Shavuos. Very haskolodik, like a deep hemshech. In general, the Rebbe Rashab would say hemshechim. Speaking here about the 10 attributes, Sfiras Hagnuzes, he's bringing the different parables to understand it. But the Nochidah, see, this is a Lashon he says. Ule'il nizboyer, le'il, earlier, I don't know who he quotes. I remember him quoting that he's quoting the Shalah. I'm Pashat, I just came across it now, but it's mentioned earlier. That's where I remember seeing it. The Shmoi ha'atzmi hu Shem Havaya. That his essential name is Shem Havaya. V'hainu, Yud Kei Vav Kei, v'hainu amitis ha'yesei b'b'chinas mechuyev. That this is the positive of his existence. B'b'chinas mechuyev ha'metzias. That therefore, because of that, the mishum zeh b'keichev yicholte lahabes. Therefore, the Eibishter has this potential to create. V'ayim ha'shekosav ha'shalah b'shem Havaya zeh ein boy eisius Havaya. In this Shem Havaya, there's no eisius. There's no letters.
Huh.
Because it's higher than being expressed in letters. It is his being as is higher than everything.